Beware the Scary Godmother. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 1 of Scary Godmother. Today's story is called The Invitation. This episode is brought to you by our new Patreon subscribers. If you want to see your name at the end of episodes, join our Patreon. It arrived in a black envelope sealed with crimson wax. There was no return address. There was no stamp. Only Emmaline's name written in looping, antique script. She found it wedged between her textbooks, as if it had always been there. But she knew she'd never noticed it before, not until now. Inside the envelope, nestled amidst layers of tissue paper, was a single card. The script on the card seemed to write like a living thing. Emmaline traced the letters with a fingertip. You are cordially invited to tea with your scary godmother, midnight, the Hollow House. Come alone. She laughed, a breathy, shaky sound, a prank, surely. But who would send such a thing? Who would go to the trouble of writing on the card? Emmaline had no godmother, and she had no one. Her parents were gone, taken by the same drunk driver on the night she turned 8. Since then, she'd bounced from relative to relative, never staying anywhere for more than a few months. She'd been on her own since she was 16, now 18. She dropped out of high school and moved into a dingy two-bedroom foster home with 5 other girls. They barely acknowledged her. The only time they ever spoke to her was when they hissed at her to keep her voice down or when Mrs. Dimly scolded them all. The girls shared one bathroom with peeling wallpaper and a shower head that dribbled rusty water. Their bedrooms were windowless boxes with threadbare beds and chipped dressers. She longed to run away. To go somewhere, anywhere, where she wasn't just another mouth to feed, another body to ignore. But where could she go? She had nothing. She was nothing. Then she looked back at the card. Something about it tugged at her. The swirling script seemed to pulse with an inner light. The paper beneath her fingertips smelled faintly of roses and rot. Emmaline reread the invitation. Midnight? The Hollow House? Come alone. The Hollow House. She knew that place. All the kids in town knew that place. The locals said it was cursed, that anyone who stepped foot inside would never be the same. Kids dared each other to go near it, but no one had ever entered the house and lived to tell the tale. Emmaline felt a thrill course through her. Maybe the godmother, whoever she was, could help her escape. She slipped the card into her pocket and hurried to the bathroom to stare at her reflection. In the grimy mirror, she saw a girl with tangled brown hair and haunted gray eyes. Underneath that dull facade beat a wild heart. Tonight, she'd finally do something bold. As soon as the last of the other girls went to bed, Emmaline slipped out the front door. The night was chilly. A thin layer of frost covered the ground. Moonlight glinted off the windows of the houses she passed. Most were dark, but a few glowed with warmth and laughter. She envied the people inside, safe and warm, oblivious to the dangers lurking outside. Soon, she heard the distant cawing of crows and the rustle of dry leaves. Ahead, silhouetted against the pale moonlight, stood the looming shape of Hollow House. Its windows were dark and empty sockets. Ivy crawled up its crumbling facade. Vines like skeletal fingers clutched at the roof. Emmaline swallowed hard. Fear pricked at her. She wanted to run, to turn back and pretend this whole thing had been a foolish notion, but she forced herself forward. As she neared the house, she saw movement behind one of the windows. Someone was watching her, curiosity warred with terror. Should she knock on the door? What if she was too late? The door creaked open as if inviting her inside. Adrenaline surged through Emmaline. She took a step forward. Then another. The door swung inward. She pushed it open and stepped across the threshold. Inside, the house was alive. Flickering candlelight chased dancing shadows around the room. A fire crackled merrily in the hearth. From somewhere above, she heard the soft murmur of voices, like wind chimes whispering secrets in the breeze. Emmaline shivered. She hesitantly made her way to the parlor. The room swam in and out of focus. It smelled faintly of cinnamon and something darker, like overripe fruit. At the center of it all sat a woman in a gown stitched together from scraps of night. Her eyes gleamed like wet coal. Her lips were painted a deep crimson and stretched wide across her face. Emmaline, she purred, her voice like velvet over sandpaper. "You came." Emmaline swallowed hard. "I don't know who you are." The woman laughed, a tinkling sound. "I'm your scary godmother. You may not remember, but I've been watching you, waiting for you. I come to those who are forgotten, those who ache, those who dream of escape." Emmaline felt a chill crawl up her spine. Could this woman really help her? Was she dreaming? The woman beckoned to a seat opposite her. On the table between them sat a porcelain teapot. 2 cups. She poured tea from the pot. The liquid was thick and black, wisps of steam curling from the surface, carrying with them muffled whispers. Emmaline stared at the depths of her cup, fear warring with hope. "Drink," the woman said, her eyes gleaming in the firelight. "And I'll grant you a wish." "What kind of wish?" Emmaline asked, her voice barely a whisper. "Any kind?" "But every gift has a price," the woman said, taking a sip of her tea. Emmaline thought of the bruises that blossomed on her arms whenever she stayed still too long in the foster home, of the cutting words and jealous shoves, of the nights she cried herself to sleep, of how her own reflection seemed to shrink away whenever she met her own gaze. She closed her eyes. She wished for escape. She wished for oblivion. She drank the tea. It burned like ice. The room lurched. Stars exploded behind her eyelids. She tried to scream, but no sound came out. When she woke, she was back in her bed. The room was dark, but now it was silent. She strained to listen. No snores, no whispers, no angry shouts. She scrambled out of bed and ran to the window. Peering out into the pre-dawn darkness, she saw the house looming in the distance, shrouded in mist and moonlight. In the faint light, she could have sworn she saw a figure watching her from one of the windows. She raced to the mirror. She had to see. How did she look? Had her scary godmother changed her? Her reflection blinked back at her, unchanged, except for the depths of her eyes. They glittered with an unearthly light. She touched her chest. Her heart pounded in her ears. Was it gone? Had her scary godmother taken it with her? Then she remembered the strange note tucked into the folds of her nightgown. Unfolding it, she read the neat script. Wish granted, 1 debt owed. I'll return when the moon bleeds. Emmaline smiled, a real smile, the first in years. Her heart soared with reckless joy. She didn't notice the scratches marring her palms. She didn't notice the thorns hidden in her hair. She didn't notice the darkness blooming beneath her skin. She didn't notice that her reflection no longer blinked. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you dare, and stay tuned for next week's episode.